Assalamu alaikum students. Open your books. Page number 62. G. Open page 62 of your science books. We have to start from precautions to avoid fire. So in the previous lecture, I was telling you about fire safety. That what is meant by fire safety, that we should handle fire with carefully and properly if if we want to avoid accident. Otherwise, if fire accidents can cause a lot of damage and also pain, so it is better to be very careful and prevent a fire disaster. So today we have to start from precautions to avoid fire. So what are the precautions of avoiding fire? Okay, one of you can read precautions to avoid fire and what happens if caught in a fire. Yes, Marij, you can read.
Yes, miss.
You can read precautions to avoid fire.
Okay, miss. Never play with candles, matches, or lighters around the house. Do not use cooking gas when you are alone. Do not stand too close to open fires. Do not cook or brush crackers while wearing synthetic
Synthetic
clothes.
clothes.
Synthetic clothes. Do not allow an open flame near petrol pumps or near materials which catch fire easily.
Okay, so what are the precautions of fire? What should we do um, while using fire? Never play with care. This is for children. That children often seen playing with candles, matches, or lighters. So children should not play with candles, matches, or lighters around the house. Do not use cooking gas when you are alone. So if you are alone in your house and there is no one else in the house, then you should not use cooking gas. Means you should not cook anything. Do not stand too close to open fires. If there are open fires, means if, like on the streets, sometimes there are open fires. So you should not stand too close because your clothes can catch fire, your hairs can catch fire. So these are very dangerous. Do not cook or burst crackers while wearing synthetic clothes. If you are wearing synthetic clothes, means clothes which are made up of artificial material. So if you are wearing synthetic clothes, and you should not stand too close to fire, or you should not cook while wearing synthetic clothes because your clothes can catch fire easily. And also do not burst crackers. Do not allow an open flame near petrol pumps or near materials which can, like, you should not light a lighter or a matchstick in a petrol pump or near to a petrol pump station, because it can uh, like it catch fire easily. You should not allow open flame near petrol pumps because they can catch fire easily. Now next is if caught in a fire. Now what happens if, for example, you caught in a fire by means of a candle, a lighter, or anything? For example, your clothes catch fire, or for example your hairs catch fire. Then what happens? What should you do? Dial dial 16 to call the fire service. These are the points which you should follow, but there should be enough time. Like if your clothes catch fire, then you shouldn't have you could not find enough time to dial 16 na? So what else you can do? If stuck inside a building on fire, for example, if you are stuck inside a building on fire, then you can dial 16 so that you can call the fire extinguishers. Wrap a wet cloth around your mouth and nose to avoid inhaling smoke. So smoke is very dangerous, and you can suffocate in the presence of when there is a smoke. So what should you do if there is a fire in a building or in a house? Or then you should wrap a wet cloth, or for example a wet towel around your mouth and nose so that you can avoid inhaling smoke. And then you should leave the building or the house. Do not use lifts. In case of a fire, you should not use lifts because the lifts can get trapped. Okay, the lifts can be stuck. So you can be stuck inside the lifts. Okay, then you cannot be then it's not safe. So you should not use lifts if the building is on fire or if any some kind of a mall is on fire. So leave the building using the staircase or emergency exit. There is always an emergency exit in buildings, in malls. So you should use the staircase in case of fires or emergency exit. Then never use lifts, okay? Because lifts can get stuck in fires. Follow all posted directions for fire exits. Or there are directions, there are rules written for fire exits. In every kind of buildings, in every place, there are rules written for the fire exits. So what should you do? You should always follow those directions for fire exits. If a person's clothes catch fire, do not allow him to run around. If, for example, someone clothes catch fire, then you should not run in panic, because if you run, then it will get more it will get more exposed to air and the fire will spread. Instead of lighting down, the fire will spread. So do you know, to put us to put out a small fire, immediately use a fire extinguisher. It is a red can, and it is called fire extinguisher. Remember the password while using the fire extinguisher. So what is the password? What is the pass method? Pull the pin. This is the method used for using fire extinguishers. So what is the pass method? It is abbreviated as pull the P for pull the pin, A aim the nozzle, S squeeze the lever, and S sweep the nozzle. So this is the method using for following for using a fire extinguisher. Firstly, you have to pull the pin. Okay, then you have to aim the nozzle, means where they were like a spray, where you have to spray it, where you have to spray it, you have to aim the nozzle over there. Then squeeze the lever, then you have to press the lever, squeeze करेंगे आप उसको. Then sweep the nozzle, means sweep the nozzle means, and then you move the nozzle here and there, like you spray something, like you move it here and there, so that it will spread over the fire. So, what is needed for a fire to burn? Which gas is needed for a fire to burn? Oxygen. That's why they have asked you to stop running if your clothes catch fire. Because if you run, then you are more exposed to the air, you are more exposed to the oxygen, and so your clothes catch more fire and the fire spread easily. That's why they have asked you to stop running. If a person clothes catch fire, he or she should not run. So oxygen is needed for a fire to burn. If a person runs around, he comes in contact with more oxygen and the fire grows. So which gas is used for fire, for burning? Oxygen gas is used. Okay. And if a person runs around, then he comes in contact with more and more oxygen, and the fire, instead of um, it grows, it spreads out more. So ask him to stop and drop to the ground. Firstly, what should he do? First step, he should drop to the ground. He should stop and drop to the ground. Wrap him in a blanket to cut. Okay, wrap him in a thick cloth like a blanket, like a towel, so that it can stop out the fire. अगर हम कोई उस पे मतलब लाइक कोई बारीक कपड़ा ही लगा देंगे तो वो कपड़ा भी फायर कैच कर लेगा. So we should wrap him in some kind of a thick cloth, not a thin cloth, so that to cut off the supply of oxygen, and roll him on the ground. And then we start rolling him on the, we can also use some woolen cloth, because they have no holes for letting air to pass. Na? So we should use such clothes, and then we should roll him onto the ground. So what will happen? It will put out the fire. So what method we have studied? Remember the words stop, drop, and roll. So firstly, if a person clothes catch fire, what should he do? He should stop. He should not panic. He should stop, and then what is the next step? He should drop to the ground, and then we should wrap a blanket or some kind of a thick cloth around him, some woolen cloth, so that it will stop the fire. It will not spread the fire, and then to cut off the supply of oxygen as well, and then we should roll him on the ground. So it will put out the fire. So these are the steps which we should, or you should do whenever somebody or some person catch fire. So there is also a pass method. If a building catch fire and there is a fire extinguisher, but you do not know how to use it, then these are the steps how to use the fire extinguishers. Like pull the pin, Aim the nozzle, squeeze the lever, sweep the nozzle. Yes, Marish, can you read the next page? Page number 63, what to do in case of electrical fire. Dua, you can read now. Yes, Dua. You can read page number 63, first paragraph. What to do in case of electrical fire? G. Students, turn on your cameras as well. Yes, Dua, can you read? What to do in case of electrical fire? Okay, Marish, you can read. Yes, Marish, you can read. Unmute yourself. Okay, so what to do in case of electrical fire? Ji Dua. G. What to do in case of electrical fire? In the case of an electrical fire caused by a short circuit or a faulty electrical. Okay, electrical fire can be caused due to a short circuiting. Sometimes there is fluctuation, sometimes there is a short circuiting. So, like, or sometimes there are some high voltage or low voltage case. So in that case, it is called. It fire can also be. It can also cause fire. So it is called an electrical fire. If a fire occurs in a switchboard or in some circuit, then it is called an electrical fire. Turn off the main. So first, what should be the first step which we should do? Turn off the main switch at once. Okay, like we should turn off the switch at once, main switch at once. Take care to wear dry slippers or shoes with rubber soles. Okay, then we should wear second. Then these are the precautions what we should do in the case of an electrical fire. Take care to wear dry slippers or shoes with rubber soles. Means we should wear slippers or shoes which are having rubber soles. Means which are rubber shoes or rubber slippers. Since rubber does not allow, because rubber is an insulator, it do not allow electricity to pass through it. That's why we should wear rubber shoes if we are dealing with some kind of electrical circuits or electric switches. So never use water to put out an electrical fire. What should we do? We should never use water to put out an electrical fire, because water can also conduct electricity and it can give a heavy shock or may even cause death. For example, if someone like throws water in switches or in some circuits, it can also cause damage because they can also conduct, because water can also conduct electricity, and it can give shock. If you touch that switch or if you just turn on the switch, it will give a heavy shock because the water is inside the switch, and the water can conduct electricity. So, and it may even, in very severe cases, like in such cases where uh, like where there is too much voltage is coming from the appliance, then it can give a heavy shock or may even cause death. Like too much voltage, like 1,000 volts, 2,000 volts is such voltage. If something is giving this much voltage, then we should not touch the switch at once, but instead we should wear some kind of rubber shoes or rubber gloves or anything to use that electrical appliance. Okay, so these are the precautions while using while dealing with electrical fires, like if the fires which are caused due to short circuiting, fires in the circuits, fires on the in the switches, or it can also give we should not use water to put out an electrical fire, because if we throws water on an electrical fire, then it can conduct electricity and it can give heavy shock, and it can also cause death. So a major damage can be caused due to an electrical fire. Okay, how to put out a fire caused by oil. So next is that how can we prevent a fire using oil. In the case of a fire caused by oil, अब oil जैसे पेट्रोल है, केरोसिन है, डीजल है, इनसे भी जो है वो sometimes जो है इनके जरिए भी आग लग जाती है. It can also, they can also cause fire. To use a fire extinguisher. So in that case, if the fire is due to some oil like kerosene, petrol, or diesel, so what should we use to extinguish the fire? We should use a fire extinguisher, or we should use sand to extinguish the fire. What should we use? We should use a fire extinguisher or a sand. Do not use water. We should never use water because oils, being lighter than water, float on top and keep burning. Okay, if we use water in the case of fires which are caused by oils, then what happened? It will keep burning because oils are lighter than water. They have a density less than water. Water is heavier than oil, and that's why if you uh, put some drops of oil on water, you will see that the oil floats on the surface of the water. Okay, because oil is lighter than water, that's why it floats on the surface of the water, and it keeps burning. In the case of fire caused by oil, if we throws water on it to put out the fire, it will not put out because it will keep burning. Okay, oil will settle on the top of the water, it will keep burning. Okay, now we have to do, now you have to answer me, state whether the following sentences are true or false. There is no need to follow traffic rules while riding a bicycle. Yes, marriage. Both of you can unmute yourself. G. Anyone of you can answer. Number one, there is no need to follow traffic rules while riding a bicycle. Is it true or false? There is no need to use traffic rules while riding bicycle. G. True or false? Marriage, unmute yourself. Students, yes, Dua, you can tell. There is no need to follow traffic rules while riding a bicycle. जब आप bicycle चला रहे होते हैं तो आपको कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है कि आप traffic को देख के चलें. True, false. Dua, true or false?
False.
Yes, it's false. Okay, right false. Next. Always try to get down from a vehicle on the side of the footpath. Is it true or false? Yes, marriage. G. We should
True.
always step on the footpath. Yes,
True.
it's true. It's true. G. Dua. Always
True.
have a baby around while swimming. G.
False.
False. Yes. Use lifts to get out in case of a fire. If there is a fire, then you should use lifts to get out, or you should use staircase.
True.
No, I've told you
True.
that lifts can be stuck during fires, so we should use staircase. It's false. Never use lifts in the case of a fire. Okay?
Okay.
D. Now tell me, what are the precautions to avoid fire? What we have studied in the precautions to